Inside this plain brown box is a secret prototype of a Wii to HDMI adapter that's about to put all of its competing products on notice. And check this out, I have the only one of these prototypes in the world that's not currently in the hands of its creator, and you're about to get a sneak peek insider look at it. When Adam from Kaico Labs sent over this prototype adapter so we could all take a look at it together, the only thing he asked was that I provide as much unfiltered feedback as possible. He also encouraged me to put the adapter up head-to-head against other adapters and also other means of connecting the Nintendo Wii to modern displays, which we'll do here in just a moment. The adapter is significantly smaller than their original offering, making it barely noticeable when you plug it into the back of the Nintendo Wii. There are new video chips inside that help provide more clarity, brightness, and overall image improvement over their original adapter. See how this adapter still has screws on the back of it? It really is a prototype. While inspecting it for the first time, I noticed something kind of interesting. See this hole next to the Kaico logo? They're going to have an LED here that's a power indicator light. It's really cool seeing these kind of things in their pre-production stage. So about those two screws next to the HDMI port, no, I didn't take them out. They sent it to me in good faith, and trust is a must. And I believe they have a reasonable expectation to have the insides of a prototype like this protected. I know all of this sounds great, but the real proof is in the video captures. Let's put this prototype up against some stiff competition and see how it fares. As the standard for comparison, I'm going to be using my Nintendo Wii that has an Electron AVE digital HDMI kit installed in it. My friend Alex Gerard installed this kit. It uses a mini HDMI port out of the back of the Wii and taps directly into the Nintendo Wii's digital video output. The next competitor is the Kaico Edition OSSC open source scan converter paired with a set of component cables. And let me just say, these component cables are no joke. These are original Rocket Fish component cables from back in the day. I mean, just look at each of these individual wires connected to each of the RCA plugs for the component leads. They're nearly as big as my pinky finger. I've been using them for years to produce high quality Wii content for this channel. And last, and maybe least, is one of those $10 Wii to HDMI adapter sets that you can buy on Amazon. The ones that come with the cheap adapter and the cheap HDMI cable. Okay, now that you know what this adapter's up against, let's put it through its paces. Here's how things will be laid out. First, I'll show the Electron AVE internal HDMI kit. Next up, OSSC with the component cables. Third, the Kaico Labs prototype. And finally, the Wii to HDMI adapter from Amazon. I'll be showcasing the following 4 games. For the Nintendo Wii, New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Kirby's Epic Yarn. And for the GameCube, The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker and Super Mario Sunshine. Hey, you know the Nintendo Wii does play GameCube games after all. There's one more important point as I roll out these recordings. The topics surrounding chasing pixel perfection often have a lot of polarizing and justifiable opinions on the matter. I think the most important part of all of it is that no matter how you enjoy playing your Nintendo Wii or any other game systems, there's no wrong way to do it. As long as you're still out there playing and enjoying these games and consoles, the retro gaming community always gets a W. First up, here's New Super Mario Bros. Wii through the Electron AVE internal digital HDMI kit. This is what Bandrew over at the Podcasters channel would call the palette cleanser. I'll be showing video output through this kit at the beginning of each comparison, as it just provides a quality baseline and starting point for looking at the comparisons of the analog video methods that I'm showing next. Here's the first of those comparisons, the OSSC open source scan converter with those component cables from Rocket Fish. While this video could be upscaled to 1080p through the OSSC, instead, I have it set to 480p to keep all of these comparisons set to the same base resolution that comes out of the Nintendo Wii in the first place, 480 lines. While the Electron AVE kit has the best overall video output, the output from the OSSC with quality component cables is pretty darn good too. Okay, here's the video output from the Kaico Labs prototype. Again, this is 480p video. When you go from something like the Electron AVE to dedicated component cables through a retro upscaler like the OSSC to a small size adapter that Kaico Labs plans to sell for around $20 to $25 US, naturally there's going to be a difference. But here's the thing that impressed me. For a $20 to $25 adapter, that difference isn't jarring. And I'll even go a step further with this to say, I think the output from the Kaico Labs prototype is pretty close to the component cable set overall. And the one that I think comes in at the tail end of the race is the Wii to HDMI adapters that they sell on Amazon on the cheap. Don't get me wrong, this is still better than using the composite cable that shipped with the Nintendo Wii all those years ago. I mean, when you're trying to hook up an 18-year-old game system to a modern display over a composite video cable, it's just going to look, well, smeary. This adapter is better than that, but I definitely recommend getting the Kaico Labs adapter once the prototype has been finalized compared to this adapter. Next up, Kirby's Epic Yarn. If you're wondering how I chose these games for the comparisons, I looked for games where I could largely just stop movement in the game so that you could compare items in the same places on the screen throughout the comparisons. Once again, the Electron AVE kit pulls digital video off the motherboard of the Nintendo Wii so that you can see the best possible video output for these comparisons. Next up, the component video output through the OSSC scan converter. Anytime you transition from dedicated digital video output to an analog signal that's converted externally to a digital video signal, there's always going to be a little bit of a loss of color and clarity. This output looks really great even compared to the digital video output from the Electron AVE. One of the huge considerations we'll take a look at in all of this in just a moment is how much do each of these output solutions cost, and what's the value proposition in the difference between these costs and the output differences that you get from using each of them. Here's the video output from the Kaico Labs prototype. Just like before, when you go to a dedicated plug-in adapter and compare it to something like the OSSC, where you can upscale the video all the way up to 1080p if you like, well, you lose that functionality. But again, that functionality also comes at a cost, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. And finally, still pulling up the rear with the gear, is the Wii to HDMI cheap adapter from Amazon. I still think this is a better solution than using your composite cable that came with the Nintendo Wii. That is, unless you're going to use the composite cable with a CRT TV. But of course, if you were going to do that, you wouldn't need an HDMI adapter to plug into that CRT TV anyway. If you want a plug-and-play adapter for your Nintendo Wii to connect up an HDMI cable to it, I'd just wait for the Kaico Labs one to come out instead. Alright, it's time for some Cube. Starting out with The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I love this game. It has that beautiful hand-illustrated look to it that comes from the cel-shaded graphics. Once again, the Electron AVE kit with the digital video output just makes the graphics pop, and it makes for a great reference point for the analog video comparisons ahead. The first of which is the component cable set run through the OSSC over HDMI. Again, no upscalings applied here. This is just 480p video coming straight out of the Wii through the OSSC. There's a reason people chase down component video output from the Nintendo Wii. It's good. In fact, for a long time, getting that component analog video out of the back of the Nintendo Wii was really the best way to get quality analog video output to your television. But as you'll see here in a moment, these pretty graphics also cost a pretty penny. Okay, here's the video output from the Kaico Labs prototype adapter. You've probably already figured out, I have these various comparisons labeled from the one I think produces the overall best video output to the one that I think produces the overall least quality video output. What that does not take into account though is price, and we'll take a look at those comparisons in just a moment, as it's not a linear jump in price compared to the jump in quality from one to the other. And once again, here's the video output from the Wii to HDMI adapter from Amazon. I feel like that with the GameCube games through the Nintendo Wii, the Wii to HDMI adapter actually suffered some brightness and color degradation. I mean, it's not awful to look at or anything, and again, it's still better than running composite video to a modern television. I just feel like looking at this and having the benefit of looking at it through a video editor like Final Cut Pro and looking at things over and over again, there's a clear drop in the quality of video when you go from the Kaico Labs adapter to this generic one from Amazon. And for the final set of comparisons, here's my favorite Mario 3D game of all time, Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. I even have one of those official Nintendo full-size retail cardboard stand-ups for it in my home that you used to see in the stores back in the day. Once again, with the digital output of the Electron AVE, it just looks glorious here. But you know what else looks pretty good? Using that Kaico Edition OSSC with a set of component cables out the back of the Nintendo Wii. I mean, yeah, it kind of makes your Nintendo Wii look like a life support patient in the ICU with all of those wires dangling out of the back of it. But there's an incredible degree of flexibility that something like the Kaico Edition OSSC provides. because you can connect more than just the Wii to it. You can connect anything that you can get component, SCART, or VGA video out of, rather than just having a single internal kit installed. And for making videos like this on YouTube, I find that flexibility to be super empowering. Here's the video output from the Kaico Labs prototype adapter. It's the smallest of the things that you can plug into the back of the Nintendo Wii and still get quality video output. Once again, I don't find the shift in video quality between this adapter prototype and using component cables through the OSSC, at least at the 480p setting, to be particularly jarring. In addition, it made it so much easier to connect the Wii to HDMI and just get rolling, compared to having to connect all of the component cables and the power adapter and everything else it takes to get an upscaler like the OSSC up and running. Especially in the United States, we tend to focus on things like convenience over quality, which is why we normally do things like listen to music over streaming services, as opposed to listening to lossless music but having to use physical media and physical media players to listen to it. Although let me just say, I do love the quality that you can only get from lossless media. And I still think that last and, well, least of these methods is using the cheap Wii to HDMI adapter from Amazon. I guess it's kinda cool that you get both the adapter and an HDMI cable in the box when you buy it. But think about it this way, if they can sell you an adapter and an HDMI cable in the same box for around $10 US, it isn't really going to be, well, the most robust set of products that you can buy. There's an old saying that says, buy it nice or buy it twice. So if you're looking to plug something into the back of your Nintendo Wii, well, I'd buy it nice instead. So what is the cost of chasing pixel perfection on the Nintendo Wii? Well, the Electron Shepherd Electron AVE kit costs $79, but once you throw in tax and shipping, it was about $95 to get it to my door. Then the installation cost was about $120, bringing the total cost to around $215. It took about 2.5 weeks from the time I placed the order to the time the install was complete and the system was ready to go. Getting a quality component cable set up to get out of the Nintendo Wii through component to HDMI using an OSSC would run about $250 after you factor in the price of the OSSC plus tax and the price of component cables on eBay, plus the cost of taxes and maybe even shipping. Quick disclosure here, Kaico Labs did provide me with the OSSC unit used in this video. Compared with the much higher prices of these other solutions, the Kaico Labs adapter will be selling for around $20 to $25 US, and it will be shipping in fall of this year. And as for those Wii to HDMI adapters, well, they tend to sell for around $10 to $15 on Amazon after you pay the taxes. Don't buy one of these things. Just wait it out and grab the Kaico Labs adapter instead. I'll let you know as soon as this adapter is available so you can get one for your own Nintendo Wii. In the meantime, I have some other great Kaico products linked for you in the video description so you can check them out and buy your favorite, including this awesome PS2 free McBoot card that will literally let you jailbreak your PlayStation 2 in just a matter of seconds.